Hey, my name is Martin, and I'll be presenting you this case study of my chosen project with an evaluation of the project management method used. The project in question is the Western Sydney Airport, which involves several stakeholders for the project. The project will be analysed to a great degree in order to highlight the necessary stages it must go through in order to be built. The company in charge of the project will be analysed to determine what is actually at stake for them and whether or not it is money, time, or something else, because these factors need to be considered. Lastly, a chosen management method will be scrutinized and described why it was chosen. So some background knowledge about the Western Sydney Airport. WSA Co., who was owned by the Commonwealth Government, was established to actually develop and operate the airport. WSA Co. was established back in August 2017. The reason why they were created was due to the fact they needed extra capacity of flights within Sydney. The Commonwealth Government invested a total of $5.3 billion for the construction of the airport as of April of 2014. The airport possesses 10 main construction steps, which are shown within this Gartner chart, which show the expectation of the time that is needed for them to finish and when the total project is planned to finish, which is within the fourth quarter of 2026. The construction will begin with the preparatory activities and end with the operational readiness and the airport transfer. And each of these deliverables has its own activities and its own time, where each of these activities necessarily don't have to begin or begin before the other one is previous one is complete, which means most of these activities can be done simultaneously alongside of each deliverable, which you can clearly see within the Gartner chart. The main stakeholders of this project would be WSA Co, who was in charge of the project, so their reputation and the investment would be a direct stake for them. The Commonwealth Government, who was actually the one who created the company and added the investment, would be a large stakeholder because it is their reputation and money on the line as well. And the taxpayers would also be an indirect stakeholder due to the fact that this money is most likely coming from the government. So the taxpayers would like to know that the money is being used wisely and for a project they deem is right of use for of their taxpayer money. Let's talk about WSA Co. WSA Co was actually established in August of 2017 as a new company where its offices reside in the Liverpool CBD. It's a government business enterprise where it's represented by the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Urban Infrastructure, who act as shareholder ministers. With the Australian government owning the business, it means there are no past projects that the company directly has created, so they don't have a timeline or a budget they can compare with their own projects. However, due to the fact that part of the government, they have access to government buildings such as the Melbourne Airport, the Sydney Airport, and so on, so they can use this in order to determine a timeline, budget, and create flight paths for the new airport. The structure of management for the company during construction was as follows in this diagram shown, where they create a hierarchy with the WSA co-delivery team on top and 3 contractors to be in charge of different aspects of the project, which can be shown in the management structure figure. This management structure allowed WSA Co to have multiple people to overlook the development of the project, allowing a steady and safe pace of the development of the project. WSA Co delivery team have their managers cover the same areas as the contractors, where the contractors would act as consultants and manage the day-to-day workings under that specific area. The culture of WSA Co um, was to as in their own words, to generate social and economic prosperity by working together to safely deliver a thriving airport precedent in Western Sydney. district. With this as its purpose, its core values are safety, integrity, inclusion, pioneering, courage, and passion. These values are what WSA Co strives to achieve through the project in order to ensure a successful um, project. So a strong management structure is needed, which is hence why they're using a hierarchy structure like this. The main project management method used is Prince2, where it allowed for smooth task flow and for roles to be clearly defined for all managers and subcontractors within this project. WSA Co may have also used the Primavera contract manager software. This software is commonly used in modern projects where it's used to store and update the progress of the development of the project. This is done by allowing the contractor to use the interface to access the information at the right time and give clear tables associated with specifics of the project to keep track of daily reports and minutes. The expected time for this project was highlighted in the statement of acceptance for the airport, where it will be operational by no later than 2026, which, as you saw in the previous slide and the Gantt chart, the expected time was to be completed within the fourth quarter of 2026, hence allowing plenty of time for the operations of the airport to begin in late 2026. The cost of the project was $5.3 billion and possibly more, as it is currently still being developed, meaning that if they were to go over budget, they would have to they wouldn't be able to spare time they wouldn't have much time available, as the client expects the project to be finished within 2026, hence meaning they might have to reschedule this time and or divert more resources into specific areas that are falling behind. The procurement of this project was will be established by the management structure, where WSA Co delivery team will be split the budget into 4 different areas: construction, safety, the environment, and superintendents, where the subcontractors in the hierarchy will be part of these 4 areas. By breaking down the budget into these four specific areas, it will allow the company to directly know where and when the resources should be allocated and what areas are actually falling behind if as they go along with the project. The risk management for the of the plan is done through the health and safety management, where they will implement a zero harm philosophy within the workplace. This will be done as the health and safety methodology in their report shown was to provide a risk profile of activities undertaken and to rate the risks and add possible contingencies to reduce the risk, hence allowing monitoring for these certain actions to make sure they're within controllable states. And they will also follow the legislative requirements and the lessons learned from past projects such as the Melbourne Airport in order to ensure the project will run smoothly. The current management method of Prince2 being used, with its benefits being more of a more controlled management method, allowing nothing to chance, as this project is one created by the Commonwealth Government and it is a high value project with an initial investment of $5.3 billion. Prince2 is widely known and accepted method of project management, with it being a generic model which can be used in any sector or project. This means anyone with industry experience can pick up a report with no experience in project management and be able to identify key aspects of the project. However, Prince2 requires management to have experience with the industry and as WSA Co was only recently developed, some might see as the managers not having the right experience to fully utilize Prince2 to its full capability. As the states within Australia have some non-uniform laws within international countries, in fields of construction, it does not affect Prince 2 as it can be used universally with no prior qualifications needed. With this in mind, WSACO were to look at other Prince 2 reports in similar areas, they will be able to plan better for the project, where they will look at past projects and access risks, budget, and timeline of other projects and use that as a basis for their own timeline in this project. For large operations such as the airport, it requires many subcontractors and multiple managers to be in charge of different sectors, which Prince 2 works well with, distributing roles clearly to all parties involved, allowing for clear communication and definitions of scopes and roles. The activity scopes to managers and subcontractors. In contrast, though, it doesn't cover contract management nor people management, and only those familiar with the project management body of knowledge will be able to tailor Prince 2 to be suitable for their project. Despite that, WSA Co is a government-owned business, so it is safe to assume they, in order to be able to tailor Prince 2 to be used well. Finally, we can conclude that through the use of Prince 2, despite some shortcomings, the experience and knowledge of the managers involved in this project will ensure that Prince 2 is a suitable method of project management for this construction, besides some weaknesses it does possess.